girl Gel Beauty 87 here, and today we're going to get into part 2 of my best of eyeshadow palettes collection. Yes, I had that many eyeshadows to choose from to the point where I had to make 2 videos. No, but these are things I really do like and would recommend to you. So I got a couple of honorable mentions. Of course, I always got some damn honorable mentions, and then I got one palette I forgot to bring with me, so I'll just try to remember pop a picture up where I'm talking about it. I can't promise that I will, but if I don't, I will leave in the description box what palette I'm talking about. Oh my god, y'all see this gray hair in my head? I saw it in the last video, but I was like, wait, am I making it up? And it's my hair too. That's making me mad. Like, why gonna be the fake hair? Why gotta be my hair that's gray? Oh god, y'all, is it more than one? Oh, please, now I gotta go and investigate. Okay, y'all, so I had to go check on my gray hairs. Apparently, I had like 5 of them hidden back there in the back of my head, and I felt very disrespected by them. So I pulled the majority of them out and left the really short ones behind. Like, I just don't have time for you right now. Anyway, let's get into my honorable mentions, and then we will get into the actual palettes part 2. So I'm gonna start off with the Nomad Cosmetics Orient Express palette. Y'all saw the tutorial on this. It was my first time using it. I have not touched it since. But in all fairness, I've been having a whole bunch of ideas with a whole bunch of other palette mashups. So that's why I haven't reached for this one again. I need to try to do another video with it, or an IG tutorial or something like that. I don't know, but it's like, because I have to dip into the blue. Y'all know if it's a blue in the palette, I have to. I have not dipped into this color or this color yet, so I definitely need to reuse it for that. But the quality of this was actually really nice. I was shocked by it. I think this palette cost like $44 or something. I bought it off somebody on Poshmark for like 25 bucks, which is how I ended up finding it and try it out, because I didn't know if I wanted to pay 44 for, you know, the quality of the palette, because I didn't know what the quality was. But now that I know the quality is actually decent, I'm gonna buy the Harajuku Lovers palette and try that one out, even though it's pastel, so I'm kind of concerned. But you know, I'm gonna just brave the storm and go ahead and try it out. But the next one I have is the Muse Beauty with an Impressionism palette. Again, this is a recent tryout. I did a video for you all. You all haven't even seen it yet. You will see it obviously before this video goes up. But this is what the inside of the palette looks like. I saw Karen Harris talking about this palette, and she said like how they had sent her a PR, and she had wanted to try it out, and then they sent it to her. So I was like, I kind of wanted to try it out too, just based upon the color story, because it wasn't the same old boring colorful like rainbow palette. It had like a nice little twist to the rainbow, so I was like, I'll definitely try it out. Then they had a sale on it. It was like $35 on sale, and it's normally a $42 palette. And then I ended up using the code WELCOME10, and I got an extra 10% off, so it made it like, I think $31. So I paid 31 bucks for this palette over 42. So I definitely want to try it out then. And I was actually surprised, because I was impressed by the quality of it. And I added another rainbow palette to my collection, but again, I only use it in that one video. I haven't done an IG video on it or anything, so that's why I'm just giving it an honorable mention, because I did like the formula I tried of it, but at the same time, I haven't like fully used it yet. So Karen Harris been hooked me up with a couple of new little indie brands or whatever, so shout out to Karen Harris as usual. I feel like I talk about her so much, she might want to get a restraining order. I'm kidding, Karen. If you're watching this, I'm totally kidding. It's not like I'm gonna come to South Dakota and like go to the Morphe store in hopes to find you. Like, no, I'm kidding. Anyway, the next palette I have is the Mel Thompson and Sydney Grace Tiny Marvels palette. This is an honorable mention because I've only used it, well, I've used it like 5 times, but that was because I did a series I told you about. I took the pictures and showed you all on Instagram that I combined this with the palette I'm going to talk about after this to make eye looks. But on its own, I don't ever seem to reach for it. I love the color Mantis. I love this color. Like, it's a lot of colors in the palette I like. I just don't ever seem to reach for it. I don't know if it's because of the way she set up the color story of it, but it's like I don't ever really reach for this palette. So that's why it's an honorable mention. It's not like the formula's bad, because Sydney Grace's formula is actually really, really nice. It's just, I guess with the layout of the palette is why I don't ever reach for it. But like, I will definitely be reaching for it now, because it is a great companion to go with this other palette that's an honorable mention, which is the Natasha Denona Trio Chrome palette, or Trio Chrome, however you want to say it, y'all. I don't know. But this is what the inside of it looks like. And needless to say, I definitely need Mel's palette in order to make this palette work better for me, because to me, this is like a lighter version of Mel's palette, and I definitely, you know, like Mel's palette a bit more, just because I feel like more of the colors working it for me than in this palette. Of course, the intrigue of this palette is supposed to be the 3 trio chromes down the middle, but I prefer her liquid formula over the powder formula, because I feel like you don't get nearly as much pigmentation as you would in an indie one. And it's like I can just buy the indie one. It's going to be much cheaper than spend $129 on this palette. But I knew I needed to have a review for it. So these work fine together if you're my skin tone. But like I don't recommend that you just buy this palette on its own. I'd recommend you just buy the liquid trio chromes and do your eye look that way. But I wouldn't recommend that you buy that palette if you're my skin tone, because I feel like a lot of the shades in it aren't going to work for you. So now that we got all our honorable mentions out the way, let's go ahead and get into some affordable. So we're going to do affordable, indie slash, what do you call it? Influencer brands. And then we're going to go into high-end and luxury. And then we'll call it a day. So we got more BH Cosmetics. I told y'all we would do the rest of those at my house from the video that I did at home, because I have Cherry on Top and Cotton Candy at home, but I want to do palette mashups with these two and two other BH Cosmetics palettes that are similar tones to them, and I'm going to talk to you about in a second. So I figured I'd start showing these and then show the rest of the BH Cosmetic palettes. So this is the shade Bubblegum. Of course, we all know this is definitely my color aesthetic. You see all these gorgeous blues in here. There's this blue and that blue. There's this blue and that blue. It's just like all of these wonderful blues. Like I couldn't help myself but to pick up this one. If I hadn't picked up anything else besides this one and the pistachio one I'm going to show you next, I'd have been fine. But they had the cotton candy, so I picked it up. And then I picked up the red one just because I literally don't own any other all red palettes or other than the Cherry on Top. And I have the blushing berries, but I'm actually trying to get rid of that one on Macari. So I just held on to Cherries on Top, and I was quite impressed with the formula, just like I'm quite impressed with this formula along with the color story of this. So that's why it's in here. I actually want to reach for this one quite a lot, and I used to when I wanted to reach for a blue palette, I would reach for Blue Moon, and it still has some amazing shimmer shades in it, but I find myself trying to reach for this one more than Blue Moon, which is definitely why it's in here this year. The next one I have, of course, is the pistachio palette. Like when it comes to green palettes, I'm not as excited with this color story as you might think I am, just because of these two really light ones. Like I'm not really that big a fan of this one and this one. I'm more a fan of the darker shades. I mean, like I would probably put like the darker shade on the outer V and then put one of these. Like, well, I would honestly put this matte on the lid, not even these two. So it's like these two aren't that exciting for me. Like I like the shimmers and the two mattes at the end, but I like it enough still for it to be in here, because I still do want to reach for this one more than I do my Just My Luck palette. And I chopped up my Just My Luck palette along with my Meant to Be and put them together, so that way I'd have all the colors that I wanted. And I still want to reach for this over that, so that says a lot right there. The next one I have are the two Weekend Vibes palettes. So I have Blueberry Muffin and then I have Avocado Toast. I'll show you Blueberry Muffin first, since I showed you the other blue one first. If you all remember, my mirror broke, so that's how I ended up having the extra palette for of this. When I called Ulta that I put in the giveaway for you all, I was like, I'll just keep the cracked mirror and let you have the brand new palette. But yeah, this is what the color story on this looks like on the inside. This blue right here is one of my all-time favorite blues. I love blues and purples that have this type of undertone to it, because it's like a pastel. I can somewhat get away with it because it's a darker pastel. It still works for my skin tone, so I'm definitely loving this shade. I like the fact that they put grays in here, because I guess some people wouldn't expect them to be there. I like them there. And then there's like lots of different tones of blue, and then this shade right here is super nice because it looks like a blueberry that's like that has been cooked in a blueberry muffin, and with that purple-ish shade to it, it's just really gorgeous. If you eat the blueberry muffin, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it's this shade of blue after they bake it in the oven and it freshly comes out. So I definitely like that whole shade situation. But this is a gorgeous palette as a whole, and I'm going to do a palette mashup with these two as well as the Avocado Toast and the pistachio. We'll talk about the Avocado Toast now. When I first saw this, I was like, yes. I heard Karen Harris talking, and I was like, yes, Karen. And she was talking about how she might not get it, but I was like, yeah, I'm getting it. So then I bought it, and I was like, yes. This color story is gorgeous. And again, I like that they put some unique shades in here. Like, I wouldn't expect to see these, like, pinks in here, but I guess they wanted to have the pinks and a little bit of the yellows just in case you wanted to have a more neutral look. So they kind of, like, added them to it. I've never had avocado toast, so I don't know if, like, the pinks and the yellows are representative of the avocado toast. I'm assuming the yellow is supposed to be representative of the avocado itself, because it has that yellow and then it fades into, like, the green or whatever. But with the pinks, I don't know what the hell is going on with the pinks. Like I said, I haven't had avocado toast, so somebody tell me, like, did the pinks have something to do with the avocado toast? I don't know. But I know I like the color story of this palette. Like, my favorite green in here would probably be this shade Guac right here. Even though this isn't the shade Guacamole is, I feel like Guacamole is more of this shade. But since they named that shade Avocado Toast, they couldn't very well name it Guac too, but the Guac shade is one of my favorite shades in here. And then I like this shimmer because it has different glitter specks in it. I like the idea of this palette as a whole. Now, I don't necessarily feel like the black was needed because it's like you already have this dark brown too, but you know, to each his own. It's a gorgeous palette and the formula on it is really nice, so I'm not gonna complain about that. Okay, so the last affordable palette I have is the Nikkie Tutorials X Beauty Bay palette. Now, I know a lot of people didn't like this palette. I actually love this palette. Like, I just did a review for you all recently. And those 3 pictures I posted on Instagram this week talking about how I made 3 different eye looks and which IG one you want to see first. This was the, I believe this was the second picture. Because I think I used, if I remember correctly, I used this shade, and then this shade. And I put this shimmer and this shimmer in the crease. And that was what that eye look was. But I love this palette. Like, every time I reach for this palette, I always want to use the shade that she named after her her deceased brother, just because I feel like it's such a gorgeous shade. And it's like an orangey red, even though like in the pan it looks like it's a red. When you add this shade behind it, it definitely gives it a more orangey red effect. And this is just a gorgeous palette overall. I love the shade Mama Tutorials, but y'all know I'm obsessed with the blue shade. And this palette overall, I just feel like it's gorgeous. And I'm glad I got it because now it makes me want to buy more Beauty Bay palettes. When I didn't even think to look at Beauty Bay, it's like brand on its own. I just, you know, would buy stuff from them but not buy from their brand. So I'm glad that I tried it out because now it makes me want to buy more Beauty Bay. Like that palette Karen Harris just reviewed. What is it? The spell book or something like that. Like, now I want to get that one because the color story of it is right up my alley and right up Karen's alley. And then it's what else? And it's on, I think, like $15 or something. So I was like, yes, please. Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me. Thank you so much. Give it to me. But I only have one indie brand to talk about. And this is the Arcana palette from Shroud Cosmetics. I haven't tried the one from Beauty Bean yet because it hasn't arrived. And I haven't tried Terra Moon yet because it hasn't arrived. So, I mean, if I have to add them to the video, then I will. So I'm not going to, like, actually edit and put this away yet. I mean, or put this up yet until all that's done. But I am going to edit it and put it into my iMovie. So that way, I'll already have it set up and I can just add that clip to it. But yes, this is what the inside of this palette looks like. It's absolutely gorgeous. When I saw this palette from Shroud, because I had seen their other palettes, I wanted Creepy Cute and I wanted this one. I didn't really want Divinity, but they had a bundle where you could get all 3 of them for $100. So I was like, $33 each palette sounds like a pretty good deal to me. So I bought all 3 of them. And this was my favorite, just like I thought it would be. And then Creepy Cute was my second favorite, like I thought it would be. So this palette is amazing. If you all remember, I did a look. I've done a couple of looks with this one because I did one on my own. And I did one with Lily, recreating Lily Living's life video. I mean, look with this palette just because, like, her look was so gorgeous I had to. And it was right up my color story too. So this palette is amazing. The quality of this is really nice. And I have no doubt that Beauty Bean's quality will be, I mean, Beauty Bean's color story will be just as nice and the same quality of the brand as a whole. So now let's get into some makeup artists and influencer brands. So I have Super Nude here from Artist Couture. And I know you're like, what is a nude palette? Like, yes, but like when I want a smoky eye look, I have some palettes that I just go to. And this has been added to my list of when I want a smoky eye, like the one I have on now that I don't have to try too hard. Now, mind you, I made this with something else. You all will see that video. It's a palette mashup, of course, because this channel is just palette mashups from now on. It seems like I don't do anything else to me too. I know. But yeah, so I really like this palette. Like, the green shade here, Supreme, is one of my favorites. And I actually like Opulence a lot as well, even though I think that's supposed to be like a pressed glitter type shade. But it is a gorgeous palette as a whole. I really like it, and I definitely recommend you to try it out. I don't know if they still have this on Sephora, but I have this one, and I have his Caliente palette. Caliente, I'm sorry, let me say it right, Caliente palette. But I don't use either one of them that often, just because he seems to dabble more into warm tones, and we all know I'm more cool tone. So the day he comes out with the just sexiest cool tone palette live, I will be an excited woman. Next, I have Strawberry Dreams from Lunar Beauty. Now, I did get this year. I know it didn't come out this year. I think it came out like, didn't it come out last year or something? I don't know. But the point is, I got it this year from Sephora when it was on sale. I'm leaving the plastic on because I had to press this one back in. So I'm trying to hold it to where it's not like glaring. Let me see. Okay, yeah, we'll hold it right there because as you can see, there's no glare now. But this is a pretty blue reflective shade. And of course, it broke. And then this plummy shade right here broke. but the rest of the palette was intact, thank goodness. So it's like and then it had went out of stock forever, and then when it finally did come back in stock, I figured my time limit was up to like exchange it or get a new one sent to me because this one broken. So I just went ahead and kept it. But this is a gorgeous palette. I initially didn't buy it because Lily Living Life said it was difficult to blend. I didn't find it difficult to blend, so I'm glad I got it. But I'm glad I waited instead of buying it regular price, because that way I could get it at a discount. But it is a wonderful palette, and it makes me want to try some more stuff. I want to get the, what is it, the Moon Spell one, but he said something new is coming out, so I'm hoping he'll have a bundle for the Moon Spell and whatever the new thing is, so that way if I am interested in a new thing, I can just get both at the same time. So we'll see, but I was definitely impressed with that palette. Okay, so the next thing I have, believe it or not, is a Makeup by Mario Glam Squad quad, and I feel like everyone who knows me or has watched this channel any amount of time knows what color this palette is. Say it with me now. It's the blue palette. So to me, this is the perfect little quad for somebody like me, because y'all know I love to have me a blue spunky eye moment. So I can put this in the outer V in the crease. I can put this blue on the lid, and then I can choose between this gold or this silver to put in the inner corner. And most likely knowing me, we know I put the silver in the inner corner. I'm not really big on golds if you haven't been here any amount of time, as I sit here with gold eyeshadow on my lids. But yeah, I'm not really a big fan of gold, so that's why I would most likely get the least amount of use out of that shade, just because it's not my cup of tea. But, you know, the quad is great overall, and I thought it was a cute little price point. It's only 25 bucks for this. So if you bought it during the Sephora sale and had 50, I wish 50%, 20% off, you end up getting that quad for like 20 bucks, which I think is definitely a steal, considering this is from a 20-year seasoned makeup artist. The last palette I have, as far as influencer type palettes go, is of course the Jackie Aina ABH palette. So I've been reaching for, every time I get a chance to use this palette, I use it. I think this is one of my most used palettes on my channel, believe it or not, because I love Jackie Aina that much, and I feel like she doesn't really get that many opportunities. But this palette is bomb, and it's so bomb that they decided to bring it back this year as one of their vault collection sets, and I'm thinking about getting that one, and just the backup I have in my collection, just adding to the Christmas giveaway, because I'm doing one more giveaway this year. After my birthday, I'm going to do a Christmas one. So I'm thinking about buying the set for myself and then just giving y'all the extra palette that I already had. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, so this is what it looks like. If you haven't seen it, I don't know how you haven't seen it, because I've done like 5 or 6 looks with it. Every time Valentine's Day comes up or Sweetest Day comes up, or I just feel like grabbing for this palette, it gets used. So it has the perfect kind of color story for me, because I like my purples. It has these neutrals for when I do want to do a neutral look. I would easily reach for this one, and then that one, or maybe that. And then it has a cute little reddish Valentine's pink situation for when I feel in the mood for that. So this is just like the perfect palette for anyone, my skin tone, or just anyone in general, because the formula of this is simply amazing. And if you don't have it, you need to buy that vault that the ABH has going on right now, because Jackie's palette is what it is. I say what I say. It's been in my favorites video for the last 2 years in a row. So I feel like I should tell you something right there. It is that hot fire. Okay, so now we're gonna get into some just more high-end palettes. So believe it or not, I have more nude palettes to show you. But first, let's talk about the one that's on my eyes right now. So I have on the Lime Crime Premium Blue Chroma palette. This palette is gorgeous. Like, y'all, this is a lovely color story. Like, you have your little plummy darkening, and then like more golden copperish type shades, or even though it seems to be like a more peachy copper shade. And then you have like your cool tone bluish, and then you have your reflector shades and all that. To me, this is just a gorgeous palette. Now again, we know I'm never using this shade. At best, I'll try to force myself to use dust over these when I'm like trying to make a airbrush looking crease. But otherwise, I mean, like, this palette is perfect to me. Like, I love the color story in this. Every time fall comes, I'm trying to reach and grab for this palette. Like, it's fall and winter right now, and I've already done, I think, like 2 eye looks with this, just because I love this palette that much. So if it wasn't in there last year, it'll be in here this year, even though I feel like it came out this year, earlier this year, because people bought it during 21 Days of Beauty and whatnot. So I feel like it came out this year. Do not quote me though, because I might be wrong. The next palette I have is the Too Faced Born This Way, the Natural Nudes. Now, I know y'all like, why in the hell do you have this palette? You don't even use nudes. Because Mel Thompson just kept raving about the formula of it. So I was like, okay, well, I just have to try it. So she keeps talking about the formula is way better than any other palette. And she was right. The formula on this is better than any other palette that they have. period. They're like, this is just, this and the chocolate gold are some of their best formulas as far as I'm concerned. So I usually just stay in the mauvey area and then work my way down this way. So needless to say, I don't use these, but it's obvious why I don't use these. I tried to use this once, but it's more of like that goldish champagne situation. And then I was upset because I'm like, this is not what it looks like in the pan, because I just wanted like a nice white type shade like what's in my inner corner right now, and this is more of like the champagne-y gold type shade, and it just looks white in the pan. So I was disappointed by that. But from here down, I usually use everything else. Like I'll dust this over that, and then I'll use like this in the outer V and make like a nice little look, or I'll use these two and this in the outer V and make a nice little look. So when I have go-to palettes for when I don't feel inspired to do eye looks, and I can just do stuff like this. So this is one of those, especially because the formula of this is just so amazing, till I was just like, yes, I need to have it in my collection. So then I bought it, and I found that one on Poshmark for 25 bucks too. So like, get on Poshmark, y'all, and be looking through people's closets, because a lot of beauty gurus are on there selling their PR and stuff, or they tried it out one time and they didn't like it, or sometimes they just swatched it and then they got rid of it because they have a big collection and they're trying to like minimize their collection as well. And it'll definitely benefit you to go on there and hook yourself up so you don't have to pay full price. But next palette I have is the Naked Honey palette. Now, I don't normally like Naked palettes at all. Like, I'm usually not impressed with the formula of Naked, but it seems like they changed the formula, because this palette doesn't feel like the other Naked palettes I've tried in the past, because I think I tried Naked Smoky, and I did like that one. But I feel like I've tried other Naked palettes, not necessarily on camera, and I didn't like the formula of them. So I thought this was going to be the same, but I did like the color story of it. And when y'all know Naked palettes always go 50% off. So I'm still waiting on the Ultraviolet to go 50% off on Black Friday to pick that up, because I kind of want to try it out. And I got a palette that I feel like I can pair it with, because so many purple palettes came out this year that I could just pair one of those and get the darker shades that I need, because it seems to be quite shimmer heavy. Anyway, we're talking about this one. This one actually works really nice. I feel like I could have almost made the eye look that's on my eyes now with this palette. Who are we kidding? I could have used the shade right here, and then dusted the shade right here over top, and then used like probably this shade right here, because the shade Honey actually has like blue reflex in it, and the one on my lid obviously does not. But I probably had to use this and maybe lighten it up with like another shade or something. But anyway, this palette works tremendously well. The color story is actually pretty nice. I thought you would get a whole bunch of the same looks, but I feel like you don't get a whole bunch of the same looks. So I mean, I've only used it like 2 or 3 times, but since y'all know this is necessarily my color aesthetic, but like, it worked quite well, and I was quite impressed with it. So I figured I would throw it in here just because I say it once, I say it a million times. There's a whole bunch of Urban Decay palettes that come out, and I usually don't like any of them. So when I find one I like, I make sure I talk about it, so you all will know that there are Urban Decay things I do like, other than the eyeliner pencils and like their complexion products. And it used to just be the concealer. I only have found one foundation I could use from them, and that's to Stay Naked. I only tried it because Thomas Halbert said it didn't break him out. So I was hoping it wouldn't break me out, and thank goodness it did not. So now we're gonna get into some eye topper situations. Now these Natasha Denona, what is it? Chromium liquid eyeshadows. I only wanted 2, and the 2 colors I wanted were Scarab and Ultraviolet. Those are the 2 I have right here. And as soon as you see them, you'll understand why these were the colors I wanted in particular, just because of the shifts in the colors are gorgeous. Like, look at these. You notice the pattern? They're like green and blue. And y'all know all about green, blue. So green, blue, and purple was just the perfect one for me. And then this one is green, blue, and gold, which, you know, I'm fine with. It's okay. I'm not usually a real big gold person, but I know it's going to shift to like blue and green. So it's like, that's why I was like, I'll do it. It's fine. But those performed so wonderfully. I didn't think they were going to be, I didn't know how the formula of them was going to be. So I just played it safe with the gold one, so that way if worse came to worse, I could tap like a gold shadow on top of it and try to like play it off if it didn't blend smoothly. But this stuff blends like a dream. This stuff is wonderful, and that's why during the sale I went ahead and bought another one, because I like them that much. Now the downside to me is the fact that they're so small, but because they're chromium liquid shadows, I'm assuming that's why they're as tiny as they are. I figured they'd be like a bigger size if they weren't chromiums, because I got some other ones in here, I think. Let me see. Did I get, what did I do with them? Oh yeah, like, well, see, like the Stila one, this is one of their little white light liquid eyeshadows, the ones that are shifting or whatever, and they're, as you can see, bigger than these are. And you don't know, Stila are known for liquid shadows, so the fact that this one is smaller than that one, and I think it's around the same price, if not more, I was like, skeptical about, but the formula on these is so nice. So I was like, okay, I'm with it, Natasha. It's okay. So we're down to the last 4 palettes now. Y'all, I know it took me a while to get through. Now, a couple of these, sorry, the last 3 of the 4 of these are not new. It's just I like them so much from last year and I keep reaching for them. So I figured I would go ahead and talk about them. So the first one is the Natasha Denona Safari palette. Now, I know Mel Thompson hates this palette, but I absolutely love this palette. I think it blends wonderfully. I love the color story gradient as far as it goes on it for the most part. Like, look at this row. Like, this row alone just screams to me. And then the bottom row screams to me. Now, the middle row, I don't care about at all. Like, I mean, the browns are okay, I guess. But, you know. And then, obviously, let's just cover it up. Because, I mean, realistically, I'm not using that shit. So, I like this palette overall. I reached for it quite a lot. Because I have acquired a few shimmer palettes, if you will. So, I use that a lot. Where's my, I meant to put the Rare Beauty, holiday, what is it? The holiday quad in here. It's called Confident Spirit? Confident Energy? Yeah, it's Confident Energy because the other one's Magnetic Spirit, but I don't see it around here. But just know that I meant to put that in here. If I didn't do it at home, because I don't think I did it at home. But I really like that palette. It's more of an honorable mention though, not necessarily something I'm going to reach for a lot because I have other shimmer palettes I like better. So I'm not really too keen on it. It does have some nice colors in it, and I do think it's a great price point. Again, if you bought it during the sale, then that means you only spent 20 bucks on it instead of 25, and I think it's a great deal for 20 bucks. So there's that. But the Safari palette, I know it came out like last year, but I got it this year for like 50% off during the Sephora, like I think it was Labor Day. It was Labor Day or 4th of July sale. But the next one I have is the Viseart Grande Pro 3 palette. I remember when one of my followers tagged me in this because she knows I love color, and it had blue and it had green. So she knew I was going to be interested, and she was right. I didn't buy it right away though because this thing is $175. I think I caught mine on sale for like $115 or something like that. And that's when I went ahead and like bought it because I was not feeling the vibes of $175. I mean, I love Viseart shadows and I know they work well, but it was like, that just kind of took me out of my comfort zone because it's like, we're going from 80 to like 175, and I was like, ooh, hold up, no. But the amount of times I have used this palette, like whenever I have a shimmer look I need to go for with one of my all shimmer palettes, I know I'm just automatically reaching for this palette or I automatically reach for the Safari palette. So these are my 2 like go-to matte palettes, if you will. The last thing I'm going to talk about that came out last year is Pat McGrath's Bliss Astral Quad in Nocturnal Nirvana. Now, if you know anything about me, you will know why this is like a quad I'm still reaching for. Like, I just did an eye look with this maybe like a month ago for you all, and that video got a decent amount of views for the amount of views I normally get. So I was like, okay, so y'all feeling the vibe too, because in that picture I can't even front, I was feeling myself entirely too much and I needed to cut it. But no, I really like this quad. I think it looks really nice. It's quite shimmery and sexy. So yeah, I definitely suggest that you pick it up if she has a good Black Friday sale, because I'm telling y'all, that quad is amazing. I love it, and I strongly recommend that you pick it up. Okay, the last palette I have to talk about. Ooh, calm down over here, Patricia. Sorry, I'm using Pat McGrath's box and it keeps bumping and stuff and making noises, and it's annoying me. But anyway, so the last palette I have is the Pat McGrath Labs Mothership Mega Celestial Divinity palette. This palette is just, y'all, I'm in love. Like, and I love to pair this palette with Jackie's palette. I had posted a picture of the eye look that I did with it, and somebody asked me when the video was going up, because that's how much y'all were into it too. So this is what the inside of the palette looks like. In case you forgot, I absolutely love the color story of this. And then I'll show Jackie's again. So the color stories are actually pretty similar, and I really like Jackie's palette. So if you can't necessarily afford to get Mother's palette, I feel like you can get Jackie's palette and get the same effect for the most part, because it has the red shade that Jackie's palette has it. It has the purple shade that Jackie's palette has in it. It has another purple shade that's similar to the shade in Jackie's palette. It has like 3 different purples in here, so you can definitely, you know, do that. The only downside about a Mother's palette is there's not hardly any mattes in it, which is helpful when you use Jackie's palette with Mother's palette, because they're like really similar in color story. So I've been reaching for this quite a bit. I think I've done like 3 or 4 looks with this palette already. I can't even front. And it's like I got more ideas in my head because it's like I want to use the reds in here with Jackie's like mattes once more. So it's like I'm going to have to do another look with that. So yeah, that completes this video finally after 533 years of me talking entirely too much and needing to cut it. So those are all the palettes that I had in my collection. I truly was impressed and excited about using this year. I know it's a lot of palettes, but since I was doing a lot of palette mashups and doing a lot of battle of those and just reviewing lots of things in general, I felt like it wouldn't be that big a deal if I showed you all these palettes, because I do truly like all of them and would love to be able to wear makeup every day and just use each different one every day. But realistically, I don't get to at this point in time, but let's pray for better days. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are dimes. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye. So you thought we was done, sis? No, we were not. Palettes keep coming out, so I have to keep adding to this list. So these are the last 4, I swear, and then you all will be diamonds, and I'll see you in the next one. But yeah, so y'all know I had to include my Melt Cosmetics X Beetlejuice collection, right? So let me open these bad boys up and you can see what they look like. They're just absolutely stunning, gorgeous. These palettes are wonderful and amazing and all those good things. And yeah, I'm definitely get future use out of these. Like with this one, I want to do a palette mashup and combine it. This is recently deceased. I want to combine this one with the what's that brand? With the Smoke Sessions palette. I feel like they would be great together because I have a lot more grungy tones for us to use, and then you can incorporate the purples. So I'm like, I will definitely be doing a look with those palette mashup. I'm probably going to do it on Instagram, though, because I feel like I've made enough palette mashes up on YouTube to last a lifetime. So I'm going to just transfer that all over to YouTube. Then I have the waiting room right here. And it's a nice little red palette. I didn't use that palette today on my eyes, but I mean, I figure it looks like I might have been able to. Well, no, some of these shimmers don't look like they necessarily work, but this is what the palette looks like on the inside. I'm absolutely really loving this palette as well. I kind of want to pair this one with the Morte palette and see how they would look together. So I think I'm going to do a couple palette mashups with those on Instagram next weekend for you all, just so I can get some more content up, because I feel like I'm like slacking on my Instagram content. I don't know why, but Sister Girl's definitely slacking. But so as far as any palettes go, I have the El Barrio palette from Terra Moon Cosmetics. Is what it looks like on the inside. It is quite stunning. I had never tried their mattes before, so that's why I wanted to put this in here, because I was so impressed with their mattes. I already knew what their shimmers were like, and I knew they're very foily and nice, and they are. But the mattes in here just truly take the cake for me, and they're exceptional. So I had to include it in this video, and I can't wait to use it some more, because I think I've only used it like, I did 2 eye looks with it for YouTube, and then that was it. So I have to use some more. The last one I have is the Viseart Violet palette. So y'all know I love me some purples, and I just had to include this little palette right here. I feel like this one is way better than the first holiday set they came out with, these 2 little framboise palettes, if you will, or whatever, because I feel like the majority of these colors I can use. Now, some of them I still can't use, obviously, but I feel like a good portion of the palette is usable for someone my skin tone, and that's why I'm like, okay, you know, it's nice, it's purple. I feel like they redeemed themselves with this palette, so I had to go ahead and include it. So those are actually all the palettes that we're done with. We're not adding any more. I don't care if I get some in next week. I actually got like a whole pile sitting over here next to me that I have not tried yet, so it's like, I'm not going to try to include those, so I'm going to just try them this year, and we're going to go on with life, and then they'll get ranked in the palette ranking video come January. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all are diamonds. I'll catch you guys in the next one, since I'm finally actually done now. Okay.